On D-Day, Operation Overlord, 513 gliders actually flew over into France, landed behind enemy lines. About 11% of the soldiers and pilots that were on those planes were killed or injured. And this was considered a success because they are so dangerous. They were extremely frail. There were wood and canvas, basically, a little aluminum or metal tubing. They carried a total of 13 troops, which was one squad. The interesting thing is that the pilots, there were two pilots, became infantrymen upon landing. The only pilots in the history of the United States that served that dual purpose. The gliders were extremely dangerous. They were called flying coffins. They were very successful in World War II. There were a total of almost 14, a little over 13,000 gliders actually built. Today, only 5 or 6 of them survive. We've got one. The pilots who flew these aircraft were among the bravest individuals in all of World War II. They had one shot at a landing. It was do or die. Only American glider pilots that crossed to Normandy that day were awarded the Air Medal, which read, "The magnificent spirit and enthusiasm displayed by these officers combined with skill, courage, and devotion to duty in unfavorable weather conditions over water and in the face of grievous enemy opposition with no possibility of employing evasive action and successful landings under hazardous conditions. Their respective duty assignments were performed in such an admirable manner as to produce exceptional results in the greatest and most successful airborne operation in the history of aviation." The CG-4A was a very, very useful tool to the 101st and the 82nd Airborne Division. The paratroopers, they found that rather than jumping and be scattered all over the place, these guys all landed and were together as a unit immediately. They did not have to reconnoiter on the ground and look for supplies. They had everything they needed, and they were together as a unit. The biggest ace that flew the CG-4A was a glider pilot by the name of Mike Murphy. And during the D-Day invasion, he was flying Brigadier General Don Pratt, who was the assistant commander of the 101st. Pratt sat in the Jeep that they were towing, and when the plane landed, it crashed badly, and Pratt was killed. He was the first general killed in the Normandy invasion. During the Second World War, General Hap Arnold decided that we should have a glider corps because the Germans were having success with theirs. He set out contracts to bid on a design, and the winner was the Waco, WACO aircraft company. That design was then sent to many manufacturers to build the glider. There were 16 manufacturers who eventually built the glider, and these were smaller companies. They weren't aircraft companies because the large aircraft companies were busy building their own warplanes. So they contracted to people like Steinway and Sons in Long Island City, the Heinz Pickle Factory, Anheuser-Busch, American Lady Corset Company. These were people that were actually contracted to help build the glider. There were two very important glider manufacturers here on Long Island. One was General Aircraft in Astoria, Queens, and the Dade brothers in Mineola.